Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Curtis, and today I'm going to do a review for Zatima Season 4, Episode 5. Alright, y'all, so the episode starts off with Zach. He is cooking, if you will. He's trying to prepare a meal for Fatima, trying to make her breakfast in bed. And unfortunately, he doesn't really know what he's doing. He actually takes out some garnish and he actually sprinkles it on the pancakes and on the waffles. I was like, poor Zach. He's really trying his best. So he does go upstairs. Fatima, she is asleep. So he's just like, Fatima, Fatima. And so she wakes up and she actually has an attitude. I'm like, baby girl, what's the attitude for? Like, oh, no, I was making you some breakfast. And he's just like, I made you some breakfast. And she's like, you made me all of this breakfast? Like, you want me to be 600 pounds? Like, what is wrong with you? And he's just like, can you please just eat the breakfast? So he ends up putting the plate, not on her lap, but like on her legs. And so then he's like, you know what, I'm going to get into the bed. And so he actually jumps into the bed, which causes the plates, because there's two of them, it causes the plates to actually fall over. Now they're all over the sheets and all this stuff. So now she's really upset. She's really pissed. And she's like, God damn, Zach. And so she's just like, look, I don't have time for this. Matter of fact, you don't have time for this. We need to get ready for court. And so he kind of going back and forth with her, just like, come on now, I'm just trying to make you some breakfast. And she's like, listen, I don't have time for this. And she's actually starting to get a little aggressive. And he's like, well, damn, what you gonna fight me? She said, yes. If you keep talking, I'm gonna kick your ass. He was like, damn, I ain't mean to do all that. Zach and Fatima, they make it to the courthouse, and y'all, the lawyer and the aunt, they were staring them up and down, like me, mugging, like, God damn. Even like Fatima and Zach, they was like, God damn, they mugging kind of hard. Like, the fuck is wrong with y'all? The judge comes in and it's basically one of those like, just to confirm, you are the aunt, just to confirm, you are the father, just basically doing the confirmation to make sure everybody's on the same page. And then he looks at Fatima, he's like, are you part of the council? And she was like, no, I'm not part of the council, I'm actually just his fiance. And then he was like, well, I've heard that you are a paralegal, is that correct? And she was like, yes. And he was like, okay, well, I will allow you to stick around and be here for your man as long as you do not give him any legal advice. And she's like, okay, cool. The judge looks down at his paperwork and is like, okay, so we are here in court now because the aunt is seeking full custody, and she's seeking full custody because of the following reasons. Number one, the mom, which is her niece, was already deemed as being unfit. Number two, when it comes to Zach, he has been to jail, so unfortunately he has a rap sheet. Number three, she feels like Zach is violent, which he is. And then number four, Zach has committed financial fraud. And both Zach and Fatima was like, financial fraud? What are you talking about? And Zach was like, hold on, wait a minute, brother. When it comes to that situation, nothing was found. Like, I wasn't found guilty. Like, I'm not understanding why that is even brought up right now. And so the lawyer actually pivots, and she's like, well, as far as Zach, he is violent. I mean, we even have proof that he is violent. I mean, he beat his own brother. Like, he almost beat him to death. And not only did he almost beat his brother to death, if we fast forward maybe like a week later, there was a shooting that happened. And then I was like, there was a shooting that happened. And Fatima, you almost got hit. And then Fatima was like, okay, so you saying because I got shot at, that means that the baby's not going to be in good hands? And I said, Fatima, listen, I know that you are trying to be there for your man, you're trying to be supportive, but come on now. If there are people popping up and they're shooting and you almost get shot and then you had to go to the hospital, I mean, that is a little questionable. Granted, it was Zach's brother that brought the guys, and then he ended up hitting one of the guys that caused all that to happen. It's still the fact that somebody did shoot at you while you are pregnant. So come on now, Fatima. And while we're on Fatima, the lawyer's like, well, I mean, when it comes to you, Fatima, you had a civil lawsuit against you. And then Fatima's like, okay, but that lawsuit was dropped because there wasn't any evidence. Like, what are you talking about? And then also, what does this have to do with me? Like, I'm not a part of this case. Like, why are you even bringing me up? And then she was like, because you are going to be there, right? Like, I mean, you are his fiance, so therefore you're going to be in the child's life. So we need to look at you as well. The lawyer continues to talk, and she's like, you know what? Ever since that incident happened, with the child and Heather, the child has been in the aunt's custody. Everything has been great. Everything has been going good. And so we feel like the temporary child custody situation, it needs to be converted to a permanent custody situation because right now he is in the best care that he can be in. Fatima attempts to chime in and say that some of the evidence that the lawyer is submitting is inadmissible. And so the judge is like, look, Fatima, I understand that you are a paralegal and you're here for your man, but keep in mind you are not a lawyer. You did not pass the bar exam. And then also, from what I see, you do not even specialize in this particular situation. So the last thing that you need to do is tell a lawyer who specializes in this situation that what they are submitting is inadmissible, especially when there's a judge involved, and I can tell you if it is admissible or not. So basically, he's saying you need to calm down, you need to relax, you need to shut the fuck up, and let the lawyers do their job. And I was just like, Andy tried to tell you. She tried to tell you. And so Zach, he can see that, Fatima, she's not really at her best right now. So he stands up and he gives a speech. And it's just like, look, when it comes to this particular situation, I feel like I am the best fit. I feel like my son should be with me because the last time I was in this courtroom, I was telling you all that Heather was an unfit mother, that she had my son in the gutter, that, it was really about to be a situation. You all did not listen to me, and then look what happened. My son was almost killed. And now we're in a situation now where her aunt is trying to take custody. Like, why would she be different than her niece? I mean, they're part of the same family. Like, I don't understand what's going on. The aunt chimes in and she's like, you know what? You were absolutely right. We are part of the same family. That is my niece. I'm not sure where we went wrong when it came to raising her, but what I can say is this: ever since I have had that child, there have been no issues, there have been no problems, and I feel like I should have the opportunity to raise this child as best as I can. And I feel like when it comes to my family, we should have the opportunity to raise this child as best as we can, so we can kind of like step in where his mother unfortunately left off. Like, just give us the opportunity, and we promise that we will basically raise the child to the best of our ability. The judge is like, okay, I heard your side, heard his side, and you know what? I've decided that I'm going to give Zach full custody, but I'm only going to give him full custody if he is able to complete an anger management program. And then he says, when it comes to the child support is going to increase from $1,000 to a little bit above 3,000. He may have said 3,500. And then he says, when it comes to like reconvene, trying to see like how they're going to do this, if they're going to give Zach full custody, he says that they're going to reconvene in 6 months. And they were like, 6 months? Fatima chimes in and she's like, hold on, wait a minute, Judge, please, let me just add one thing. The judge is like, okay, what would you like to add? And she's like, I feel like there needs to be a court ordered DNA test before all of this takes place because one, Zach is not on the birth certificate. And two, when it comes to the DNA test, it wasn't done at an actual facility like at a testing center. It was actually done at home. So I feel like there needs to be a court order one so we can ensure that Zach is the father. And so the judge is like, Zach, let me ask you a question. Do you have any doubts when it comes to paternity? Do you believe that you are Michael's father? And he's like, you know what? I do have doubts. And so the judge was like, okay, well, if you have doubts, you know what? I will have a court order DNA test. And that's something that we can do maybe within the next 4 weeks. So in the meantime, when it comes to the child support, everything is going to stay the same. After this is over, Fatima goes back to the office, and the lady actually comes in. She's one of the partners, and she actually closes the door behind her. So Fatima's like, "Oh shit, what did I do now? Like, I was just chilling about my business." And the lady's just like, "Look, I need to talk to you about something." She's like, "What's going on?" She's like, "I'm actually getting ready to go on medical leave, and so I'm not going to be able to work with a client. So I was just hoping that maybe you can come in and assist." And Fatima's like, "But I thought you were in the entertainment division." She was like, "I am, but based off of the amount of passion that you put into your work, the amount of passion that I see, when you're around the office, I feel like you will be the best fit." And so Fatima's like, "I'm not really sure. I don't know." And so she was like, "Well, I can give you some insight about who the client is." And she was like, "Well, who is the client?" And she was like, "It's Sage." And so Fatima's like, "It's Sage?" She was like, "Yes." Fatima's like, "Oh my God, this is great." But then she thought about it. She's like, "Oh shit, I'm actually getting ready to go on maternity leave." And she's like, "You know what? That's okay. That's fine because I'm actually going to be here for a couple more weeks. So basically, you'll be working under me. So it's not like you're going to be in this situation alone. I'm still going to be here. And by the time everything is said and done, I'm actually going to be back in the office from my health leave. So it's not going to be a problem at all." And then she also says, "You know what? If you do a really good job, I may actually be able to hire you." And she was like, "Hire me?" She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I mean, listen, I know you like doing what you are doing, but I feel like maybe it is time to transition to something else. And so I should be the one to kind of help you get to that lane. And so if you do a good job, we can actually see what we can do." And so Fatima was like, "Okay, you know what? I'll do it." She was like, "Okay, great, but let's go." And Fatima was like, "Go where?" She was like, "The meeting. Sage is actually here in the conference room. Like, you need to meet with her now." Fatima was like, "Oh, shit." But Tim was like, "Well, can you give me a rundown before we go into the meeting?" She was like, "Sure." So when it comes to Sage, she's actually in the process of trying to sue her manager. And because Fatima is a fan of Sage, who is an R&B singer, she knows that her manager is her father. So she's like, "Wait, she's trying to sue her father?" And she's like, "Yes, she is trying to sue her father." And so Fatima was like, "Okay, cool." So they go into the conference room. The lady introduces Fatima. She's like, "You know what? Fatima's going to look at the paperwork. She's going to talk to you. I'm going to step out for a brief moment and I'll be right back." Fatima sits down and she looks at the paperwork and she's like, "Oh shit." And Sage is like, "What's wrong? What's the problem?" And she was like, you know, it looks like you have something similar to Britney Spears. So you remember when Britney Spears had the conservatorship? Well, it appears that your father has the same thing, and it looks like it's actually going to be until you're 30 years old. And so Sage is like, oh shit, like what can I do? And Fatima's like, well, I mean, we can challenge this, we can contest it, but it may be a little bit hard because of all of the businesses that you all have tied up together. It's during this conversation that Sage lets Fatima know that she is actually working on her new project, and she does not want her father to be involved because he is very controlling. He likes to control her music, the way that she looks, her tour. So she wants to do everything that she can to get him from being involved. And when it comes to this lawsuit in general, she wants Fatima to focus really on getting him off of this project. Like all of the other stuff we can look at a little bit later, but when it comes to this particular project that she's working on, she wants to make sure that he does not have any type of involvement. And she also says that she wants Fatima to promise her that she can kind of get some things done within 24 hours. Fatima's looking like, I don't really know, but she says, of course, you know, I'll get it done. It won't be no problem at all. Sage is like, you know what, Fatima, I like you. I really do. And since we are talking, you know, we're having a conversation, I was just curious if you knew of any spots that I could maybe have an exclusive listening party because I actually have a song. I'm thinking about making it my first single, but I want to get like a feel for it. Like I want to see how people like they react to it. And so Fatima was like, you know what? I may have a spot. And she was like, perfect. And so the lady that actually, you know, brought Fatima to the fold, she actually walks back in. She's like, you know, is everything okay? And then Sage is like, yes, of course. Like, I love Fatima. She's great. She's wonderful. And then as Sage is leaving, Fatima's like, you know, she's actually having an exclusive listener party. And she's like, oh, I didn't know that. And so she's like, oh, so you are in the fold now. You did a good job. And Fatima's like, yeah, I did. Now, as far as the end of the episode, we see Tony. He's back in the projects and he's walking up to a door like he did before. And he actually puts an envelope on the ground and he attempts to walk away. But this time, the lady actually comes out and she sees him. He's walking this direction, so she actually sees the back of his head. But she's like, hey, young man, what are you doing? And then he actually rushes off. So I'm just like, She's going to figure out who you are, Tony. I want to thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry for the delay. I really am. I'm going to try to get the other episodes up as quickly as I can. But if you all could, please like, comment, share, subscribe. That would be great. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye.